All right, Shalom, Shalom. I'm Y'all coming at you with another lesson straight out the Lion's Den camp of Yashala. But before I get started with this lesson, Heavenly Father, in the name of His only begotten Son, in their proper true names, we're going to start off by saying Kal, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kwadash, Ma'amath. Definitely want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS and their elders. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder, Ahawam, Banyasa Allah of the Lion's Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere men, women, and children that believe in sincerity and the truth and that believe on the names of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. All right, and shalom to the Lion's Den Camp and the rest of the elect that's out there. Shalom. All right, today's lesson is going to be going back into World War III. All right, dealing with the prophecies of the of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. All right, true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. True name of His only begotten Son is Yahweh Shai. These are the names that you need to know to be saved, for deliverance. All right, these are the names that will lead you to deliverance, all right, into salvation. All right, so this article is from the iPaper. All right, it says Russia has new nuclear missiles. All right, experts think they're a significant threat. All right, so the deal is what's going on, right, around the world, right? Russia, China, all of these major powerhouses, all these major countries are trying to amp up their their nuclear arsenal, right? It's basically another arms race, a nuclear arms race, all right? Just like back in the day with the Soviet Union and America, all right? So now it's the new ones with America again, right? Russia and China, right? And with the rest of them, dealing with North Korea, India, Iran, even, it's another, we ain't gonna go into that, but Israel, even though Israel claims to not have any, but, ultimately they know that Israel has a bunch of them that they're hiding. All right. They have they like to basically, play in the dark, basically. That's the type of spirit that's on them people. All right. But the whole point is the Lord is getting everything ready for World War III, right? He's putting this information and playing on the hearts of these kings that run these countries to bring forth the weapons of His indignation, all right? So Russia has a new weapon, a new nuclear missile, okay? And they're upgrading their capabilities, their programs, so on and so on, man. And it's all to get ready for World War III, nuclear destruction, all right? The downfall of Esau's kingdom, all right? And He's going to use Esau to do it, as well as Yahweh Shai, all right, and the rest of the angels. All right, so this article, it says, Russia has a new nuclear missile. Experts think there's a significant threat. Russia's expansion of its nuclear forces through new weapons is a significant threat, to Europe, and an arms race over hypersonic delivery systems. All right, and I was just doing a lesson. My previous lesson was on China, going into their upgrading their hypersonic missiles, but that's what it's about, man, right now. Hypersonic capabilities, basically, it helps with intercept, right, of their missiles being intercept and basically blown up before it reaches its target, right? Because the Lord said, this place will be, Babylon, right, will be destroyed with 200 million warheads, and they will not miss, right? Even though Trump is talking about a golden dome, right? We'll see how that plays out when that, once that comes up again. But, at the end of the day, these missiles will hit this place, right? We have to understand that, no matter what technology they come up with, what ideal, it's not going to stop the Lord's prophecies, okay? So that's why the Lord is basically amping up Russia's capabilities, China's capabilities, so on and so on, right, to get past these certain defenses, okay? All right. Again, it's kind of, it's like a movie, right? It would be one boring ass movie if this, if it was just like so plain, right? It has to be, you know, explosive, right? So, basically keeping you on the edge of your seat. All right. So you hear people, oh, America won't ever be destroyed. We're finna get this golden dome. No missile will be able to hit us, right? And that's what the Lord wants the people to think, right? He wants them to think, oh, we in peace, peace, peace. Then sudden destruction, will happen. All right. So, but at the end of the day, that's why China, Russia is going into these hypersonic, right? Trying to hit Mach 5 and Mach 6, right? Because that basically cuts back on them being intercepted, right? Where these drones can go out and blow these missiles up before they reach their target, or they'll shoot another missile at the, so on and so on. It's just interceptors. All right, it says Russia expansion of its nuclear forces through new weapons is a significant threat to Europe, all right, but it's also to America, all right? And an arms race over hypersonic delivery systems could spiral out of control, according to a specialist on Russia's nuclear programs. A new report from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, DNI, suggested that Moscow is, quote, expanding its nuclear forces by adding new capabilities, including nuclear air-to-air missiles and novel nuclear systems. All right, so air-to-air is basically, let's go here real quick. Select it. Yeah. It's in one of these tabs. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, an air-to-air missile, AAM, is a missile fired from an aircraft for the purpose of destroying another aircraft, including unmanned aircraft such as cruise missiles, right, as well as drones. Because that's another thing. This is like a coward's war, right? So all the drone technology right now is crazy, right? Matter of fact, China's building a mothership drone. That was probably going to be one of my lessons, but that's another story for another day. Just you might want to look into that for now. All right, but it's all about basically China's been heavy in those drones. But anyway. It says AAMs are typically powered by one or more rocket motors, usually solid-fueled, but sometimes liquid-fueled. All right, that's pretty much what we needed. All right, let's see here. All right, it says, a new report from the U.S. Defense Agency suggested that Moscow is expanding its nuclear force by adding new capabilities, including nuclear air-to-air missiles and novel nuclear systems. All right, end quote. The report added that Russia is enhancing its nuclear presence in neighboring Belarus by, quote, establishing missiles and nuclear capable aircraft capabilities, right, renovating a nuclear weapons storage site, and training Belarusians. I messed that up. So like Belarusians. I think that's how you say it. Belarusians crews to handle tactical nuclear weapons, end quote. Salakia. All right, it says Russia is also developing weapons for space, including a, quote, satellite capable of carrying a nuclear device, end quote. China's trying to do the same thing. All right, they're actually building a supercomputer, all right, satellite. The DNI stated Dr. Maxim, right, an expert on Russia's nuclear weapons at Queen's University, Canada, said the new nuclear air-to-air missile and Russia's potential to produce them at scale could be a threat to Moscow's enemies, man, right? And that's including America, right? Not just NATO and the EU. All right, it says this military potential should be a cause for concern. All right, such missiles are relatively easy to develop. Almost all Russian fighters can be its carriers. Damn. All right, end quote, he said. All right, it says, quote, so far, Russia has made a demonstrative display of its capabilities in the absence of any arms control agreements and lack of trust. The very fact of possessing such weapons and the potential to expand them would significantly threaten European security. All right, and this is the Russia's nuclear storage sites. All right, I'll start from here and scroll over for you all. All right, you have red dots, national level storage, blue dots, Air Force base level storage. Look at all this, man. Russia is not BS, boy, right? Purple, naval base level storage, right? Orange, like an amberish, but engineering units, right? And then green, strategic rocket force divisions, right? But they're spread out through all of Russia, right? Because that's the Middle East, right over here, right? You got Ukraine, right there, all right? So on and so on, all right? I don't know if you can see that, but Italy is like close over here, right? But that's all of Russia, basically, all right? And Finland at the top up there. But anyway, all right? Let me back out of this. Okay. All right, but as it was saying, all right, so Belarus, right? The report added that Russia is enhancing its nuclear presence in neighboring Belarus. All right, so this is Belarus. All right, I don't know what this is at the top up here, but we'll get that shit out of here. All right, this, what the fuck? Excuse me, Mr. Lucky. This is not what I wanted. All right, Belarus. All right, as you can see, Ukraine right there. So basically, Russia just wants to take back its territory. They want to take over all of this, really, right? All the way over, right? All the way till you get to Portugal, right? Ireland. They want it all, right? That's the mindset of Russia right now, right? So they're taking Ukraine. They already, as the article's reading, amping up Belarus, right? The next target is Finland, all right? Guaranteed they're gonna probably be hitting them very, very soon. I was reading an article last year about Russia had Finland in their sights, and Turkey, but it's just the Lord getting Russia ready, right, and getting all his neighboring places ready as well, right. Matter of fact, let's go to Ezekiel 38. This is Ezekiel 38:1, and it reads, "And the word of the Lord," right, of Yahweh, "came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog," right? This is Russia, right? "The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him," right? "And say, Thus saith the Lord, power," right? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh, "Behold, I am against thee," right? And say, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, right? And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts, right? As it says, all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords," right? All of them, right, handling swords. And what's the modern day sword, right? ICBMs, right? Nuclear missiles, all right? But as we were just reading, right? All of them handling swords, right? Persia, right? Ethiopia, Libya, and we have done lessons on this, right? Showing where these countries, where these places at today. Ethiopia is still in the same spot, but what's the Persia today, right? Libya, right? Gomer, right? Tugamor, all of these places are neighboring cities to Russia, right? Or countries, right? Turkey being one of them. Let me see. Let me find this for you real quick. Salaki, how the hell you get? There we go. All right. All right. As you can see, what we got here. All right. What's Persia today? Right. Biggest day, Iran. All right. You see Turkey. I would click on it, but all right, that's Gomer, Togomor, all of that stuff. All right, matter of fact, all right, let's see. Ooh, this might be a pretty good one. It's kind of ugly, but you might be able to kind of tell. No, this one might be too ugly. But it's basically showing you know, the Black Sea right there. So Russia, what Gog and Magog, what Magog is, right? Gomer over here, all it's like Turkey, right? Nah, I don't like that one. What about this one? Nope. So lucky. I'm trying to find a better picture for you all. Maybe I should have did this beforehand, face. All right, here we go. All right. And this one says the invasion of Israel. Whew. All right, see how it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, right? Gomer. Right here, Tuggamore. Right, Tubal, Meshach. Right, that's Turkey. Right. But anyway, I really don't like that one either. But it's straight. All right, here go one. There we go. All right, because when you keep reading, you'll see put in there, right, which is basically all of it. It's basically like Egypt and that area over there. All right, Persia, which is Iran. All right, Meshach, Tubal, all right, Gomer. All right, all of these places, and that's what the Lord is doing. He's getting ready to bring forth His judgment, man. But basically, He's amping up Russia, and we already know Russia is part of the BRICS. Right, and you know, China's part of it, India's part of it, and Iran as well. Right, and so what he's doing is raising up Russia to be a guard unto these. But let's read it. Be a guard unto these other nations. Basically, now these other nations are following in the footsteps of Russia and amping up their nuclear arms. Right, that's what this whole arms race is about. Right, to bring forth the Lord's indignation. All right, but as we were reading, it says all of them are handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, right? All of them with shields and helmets. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tuggamor, right? Tuggamor, right? Of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many, right? Of the north quarters, as it was saying, right? And all his bands, and many people with thee, right? Be thou prepared. And that's what the Lord is doing. He's preparing them, right? Building up their hypersonic capabilities, right? And prepare for thyself, right? So it's just like as China, part of the BRICS, right? They're getting prepared and building up their capabilities with their hypersonic missiles, right? Again, it's all to make these missiles faster and faster and faster so they be less likely to be intercepted. That's what it's all going into, right? Well, basically, these last two videos, my previous video and this video. All right, and prepare for thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, and he's already being that guard because he's the president of the BRICS nation, right? Not just the president of Russia. He has become the president of the BRICS as a whole. I believe that happened. Don't get me the line. So I don't. It happened not too long ago though. It says Verse 8, after many days thou shalt be visited in latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, right? Which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. All right, that was pretty much the point I wanted to get into, though. The Lord has hooks into the jaws of Putin, and he's guiding the Putin, right? As verse 4 was reading, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, just like a horse, right? He's guiding Putin, right? The Lord deals with the kings, right? The hearts of the kings, just like with Pharaoh, right? He hardened the Pharaoh heart over and over and over. Every time the Pharaoh thought, to himself, man, I'm gonna let the Israelites go today, right? The Lord hardened, the Heavenly Father hardened his heart, man, right? Because it's that's why people say, man, what's the saying? How does the saying go? Right, Salaki. But it says, if you want to make the Most High laugh, tell him what you got planned, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone's gonna do what the Lord wants them to do, right? Especially when it's dealing with His prophecies, right? There's no getting around it. All right. How you close this thing up down here? All right. All right. So, neighboring cities, we're just going over that. Belarus. All right, let's get back to the article. All right, it says, Moscow. So this is why I left off. Quote, this military, right, potentially should be a cause for concern. All right, such missiles are relatively easy to develop. Almost all Russian fighters can be its carrier, he said. Right, so far, Russia has made a demonstrative display of its capabilities, and I think I read this, but in the absence of any arms control agreements and lack of trust. The very fact of possessing such weapons and potential to expand them would significantly threaten European security. All right. It says, what do we know about Russia's new missiles? The missiles are a variant of, right? It's a variant, right, of the R-37M model that was tested last year on MiG-31 fighter aircraft, right? Quote, it was developed as a counterweight to the superiority of NATO countries in aviation, Starchuk said, right? The R-37M is the fastest air-to-air missile in the world with a speed of Mach 6, right? 3,600 miles per hour, according to Military Watch magazine, as well as one of the longest range at about 250 miles, right? Quote, the integration of nuclear warheads onto the R-37M will allow a single Russian fighter or interceptor to neutralize full squadrons of enemy targets, entire salvos of cruise missiles, or large swarms of drones, end quote. The outlet reported. No other country is known to possess an equivalent weapon. Right. So the U.S. It says the U.S. may have air-to-air missiles with similar capabilities, according to Dr. Pavel Podvig, right, director of the Russian Nuclear Forces Project in Geneva, right. It says, quote, but definitely not nuclear, right? But definitely not nuclear. Talking about America, air-to-air missiles, right? Podvig and Starchuk, right, agreed that the DNI reference to, right, quote, novel nuclear system is likely to refer to two systems, right? The Borisovnik nuclear armed cruise missile. Man, I might have looked into that one. It says, and the Poseidon nuclear torpedo. I know about the Poseidon. All right, both of which were first announced by Vladimir Putin in 2018. All right. Ooh. All right. It says, all right. I was going to go into that. This is the R-37 missile. All right. It says, NATO reported name AA-13 Axe Head. All right. It says, is a Russian long-range air-to-air missile. The missile and its variants also had the names K-37, right? And then it just goes to a bunch of other names and stuff. All right, but that's the picture of it. See about this one real quick. Berefstenic, if I said that correctly, refers to a low-flying nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile under development by Russia, also known as RS-SSC-X-09 Skyfall. It is characterized by its own potential for unlimited range and the use of a nuclear reactor for sustained flight. Damn. All right. You got a picture of that bad boy? Oh, yeah, I remember these. All right. It says, Berefstenic, right? The Berefstenic, so like if I'm messing that up, appears closest to deployment, said Podvik, citing satellite images that appeared to show the preparation of a launch site for the weapon that has a claimed range of 14,000 miles. All right, but the program has been beset with difficulties, according to a new assessment by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists Journal, right? It says, which cites, quote, serious setbacks, including nearly a dozen failed tests, end quote. All right, grab some precepts real quick, so like let's go to right. So we was reading Ezekiel 38, but we have to understand, man, the Lord is not playing. All right, when He says He's gonna bring forth World War III, He means that, man. I need to click on that. All right, this is Joel. Right, 3:1, and it reads, for behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations. So we in our captivity, right? So what's the Lord doing right now, right? The scriptures say two woes have passed and the third one come quickly, right? And that's what we're seeing today, right? We're living through the day. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them, right? Plead goes into judge. I will judge with them, right? He would judge them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, right? It's always about the Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, and the speckled bird, by His people, right? Whom they have scattered among the nations. That's the speckled bird, right? Because you have Israelites in other nations, right? Not just America, right? But they're spread out through all four corners of the earth, north, east, south, and west, right? And they're like the speckled bird. They look like the other nations, right? It says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land, and they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy. That was pretty much the point. All right, so the Lord is getting ready for World War III, getting these, He's getting the armies or the nations ready for World War III, right? Building up their capabilities, building up their arsenals. Saul bring forth the weapons of His indignation, right? The Most High's indignation. And it's His armor. It's the weapons of His, out of His armory, the Most High's. All right, where we gonna go? Let's go to let's go to Obadiah. No, that's not where I want to go. Select it. Yeah, dang it. I gotta learn how to work this thing. We're gonna go to 2 Peter real quick. This is 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up, man. That's the point, right? The Lord is purging this place, man. Right? He has the whole earth is given to the hands of the wicked, right? The earth was given into the hands of the wicked, man. And all of that shit has to be purged out, right? Has to be burnt up, you know. We have to have that understanding that at the end of the day, nothing's going to be able to stop the Lord's wrath, man. You know. This is 2nd Esdras 16. And what is it? It's somewhere up in here, but I'll just start from the top. We'll get to it. It's 2nd Esdras 16:1. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. All right, we're just going into some of those places. But anyway, it says, gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand, man. Right, because the Lord is bringing them low. Right, so he's building them up now to bring them low. Right, so at the end of the day, especially America, right? they he's exposing them. He's lifting up the skirt, right? Exposing their thigh, basically exposing all their evilness and their evil works, right? And he's gonna make them sorry, man. You know, he's gonna bring them low to the point where they're pretty much almost completely destroyed, but the ones that's left over are gonna be be slaves for 1,000 years, and then after that they'll be eradicated, man. Right? But we are literally watching the downfall of this place, man, and these people losing their grip on the earth. Right? So the Lord told them to gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Right? Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand, man. So all of that wickedness that they have pushed upon the earth will fall upon their own heads, man. Right? They want to drop atomic bombs on people. They're gonna have to go through the same thing. Right? So now they look, they're in a sad case right now, man. This place is in a bad spot. It says a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? Right? So what's the modern day sword? Right? Who's gonna turn back these missiles, man, once they're shot off? The iron or the golden dome ain't gonna be able to stop it, man. You know. It says a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer, man. And that was the point. All right, and who's the strong archer? Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. When Yahweh send Yahweh Shai, man, nobody can stop it. Nobody gonna stop the prophecies from coming to fruition, man. Right? Verse 8, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath. But that's the hope that Esau have, right? Into the iron dome or the golden dome, right? That Trump is talking about implemented. It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? Right? It says, he shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence, man. The earth quaketh, right? And the foundation thereof, that's because when all those ICBMs hit, man, it's going to make the earth rock to and fro. The sea arises up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand, right? Talking about Yahweh Shai, and that for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And that's the precept I really was looking for. So they're not going to miss, right? They're going to hit their mark, man. So no matter what kind of dome, iron dome, or even the golden dome, nothing's going to be able to stop the Lord's in the nation, man. Right, this is the reason why he's amping up the capabilities of Russia's and China's nuclear arsenals, man. All right. This is Isaiah 24:20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgressions thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Right. So the transgressions of this wicked ass kingdom, man, have reached to the Shemaims, and the Lord says He's going to utterly destroy this place, man. Right? He has to purge the earth to be able to renew it. Right? The earth is not going to be completely destroyed, but it is going to take some damage, man. A lot of damage. Right? It's going to be disastrous. You think of a lot of the different disasters: volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, explosions from those icy beams. All of this shit gonna be happening all at once, man. There's gonna be so much destruction going on, man. But those transgressions from this wicked ass kingdom, man, that's what's not gonna rise again, man. Right. So once those missiles get shot from one end to the earth, even to the other, right, and once Yahweh Shah show up and be zapping their ass as well with them chariots, right? It's the kingdom will be, or the world will belong to our Lord at that time, right? It will no longer be in rulership under Esau, all right? Verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones, man. Right, as we were just speaking of, and it shall fall and not rise again, as it was reading in 20. Right, verse 21, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Ooh. That pretty much was the point, man. I'll just finish it up. Verse 23, then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord Yahweh of hosts, right, when Yahweh, the God of armies, shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously, right? And that's the day we are patiently waiting on, man, for for World War III, nuclear destruction, because we know, in that day we'll be saved out of it, man. The sun will be darkened, the moon will look like blood, because this is all because of the nuclear fallout, right? That's why I said the sun to be ashamed. It's like it's hiding, but it's not. It's gonna still be there, right? But for the ones that are looking from the ground view, it's gonna look like it's darkened because of the nuclear fallout, right? But Lord willing, I'll be up in the chariots in that time. All right, let's go to. I grabbed Joel. Did I grab Joel? It's Joel. I think I grabbed it. But if I didn't, Joel 3:1. For behold, in those days and in that time will I bring the captivity. I grabbed this already. Lord gathering the people, the nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Bring forth the, World War III. Grab Peter already. Malachi 4:1. This is Malachi 4:1, and I end it. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith Yahweh, right, the God of armies, that it shall leave them neither root, right, leave them neither root nor branch, right, because they're gonna be going into slavery, man. No more wicked nations or wicked families in rulership again, man. Right, and after that, they're going to be eradicated after 1,000 years of slavery. Verse 2, but unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. Right? That's definitely what we're waiting on, man. To be changed in the twinkle of an eye, man. To be made immortal and to be made sinless. Right? It says, Son of Righteousness, arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall, man. When you think about that, think about the difference between wild bulls or wild cows. You don't really see that today, but compared to a cow or a bull that's being taken care of, that's in, has its own green pastures to eat in and to graze in, and even to the point where they have a barn, a covering. Right? They're being, they're living like, they living it up compared to the ones that's living out in the woods, being hunted by different predators and, has no covering, no protection. It's strictly living in a savage lifestyle, man. But with us, man, we're gonna grow up like it says, and grow up as calves of the stall, man. All right. Straight protected, man, and covered fully. All right. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts, right? Yahweh, right? The God of armies. Remember ye the law of Moses by my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. All right. And then verse 6 goes into him sending Elijah, right, the prophet, and that was Abba Bivens, man. All right, so the Lord prophecies are coming to pass. All right, for those who know, for those who don't, right, will be counted as stubble. All right, for the most part, because if the Lord ain't showing you his prophecies, that means you more than likely are not part of the elect, unless you come in at the last minute. All right, this is back at the article. It says, arms race with UK and US. Russia is also developing several long-range hypersonic nuclear-capable missiles, including the Kinzhal and Zircon, that have been used during the invasion of Ukraine, a field of war that has sparked new competition between nuclear powers as the U.S. develops models such as the Dark Eagle, which that's shot from like a truck, and the UK and France advance their own programs, right? The arms race is going on to a certain extent in the field of hypersonic weapons, end quote, says Stachak. Quote, many nuclear powers are trying to produce them, right? Many nuclear powers are trying to produce them as both nuclear and conventional weapons become hypersonic. The unpredictability of international security increases. Right? Quote, without agreements to control these weapons, the hypersonic potential has become a symbol of the state's military superiority. Right? It's the Lord building up Russia, man, Gog and Magog, right? It says Podvig suggests the U.S. interest in missile defense, such as Donald Trump's proposal for a Golden Dome. Right, that's a lot of money. I don't even know how much that is in U.S. money, but is that like billion? But anyway, it says systems may be a part of this competition as they are, quote, about getting the capability to counter the intercept hypersonic weapons, right? And that's the point, man, about getting the capabilities to counter the intercept hypersonic weapons. That's one reason why, that's the reason why he's going in his Golden Dome, because he know, for one, they're outdated compared to these other countries like Russia and China, right? So now, and he know it's going to take time to build up America's capabilities and arsenal, right? So his mindset is to build a Golden Dome to help intercept these hypersonic weapons, man. Right, but it's not going to happen, man. But it says the Golden Dome system may be a part of this competition, as they are, quote, about getting the capability to counter and intercept hypersonic weapons. U.S. officials also alleged last year that Russia is developing space-based weapons, potentially including nuclear weapons, which Moscow has denied, right? So at the end of the day, they can, not Putin, but Trump can come up with all these domes, and, the Lord said his missiles ain't going to miss, man. His arrows ain't going to miss once they get shot off. All right, so at the end of the day, this is why Russia and China capabilities are steady advancing, getting faster and faster, stronger and stronger. They're coming up with constantly coming up with new capabilities and strategies to destroy the West. Right? And America they got their eyes on your ass too, America. Don't think you out of it. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to who it needed to be edifying to. Salaki for the interruptions, Salaki for the some of the hard words or these names, basically. Dealing with the English and so ragged ass language. But anyway, Habathah to the elect, man. Shalom to the elect, and DTA to the stubborn, man. All right, Shalom.